Last summer, my grandmother wrote me a note. My mom pulled the crinkle-folded paper from her chest pocket and delivered it into my hands. The first thing I saw was the shaky handwriting, determined to make each stroke perfect. My mom says she's never seen her write. The second thing I noticed was the misspelled and broken Spanish. My mom says that my grandma didn't finish school, that instead she had spent her days dreaming better for herself, that life was more than picking vegetables and fruit, but soon it would turn into the smell of hot oil and laundry. At 18, she gave light. She showed her children what she could, how prayers provided solace that calloused hands are meant to be proud of, and it didn't matter what those other kids said. Still, she didn't want her children to end up like her. They would know how to spell their names. They would not be taught by their older sister using the candlelight. 8 out of 11 children dropped out. My mother was class of '86. On the day of her graduation, there was an imprint of the rosary on my grandmother's hand. When my mom asked if she could leave home, my grandma did not cry. She understood what it was like to leave home, but what could she do when she already carved her experiences onto the mountainside? She stayed. My grandma thanked La Virgen because it seemed that the woman in my family could only achieve with the help from divine. My mother prayed thank yous every night she was away from home. She mimicked the moves of her mother, signed her name with calloused hands. She was ready to look after her daughters, wanted us to focus on the future and not be caught in her past. Whenever I ask why she never tells the stories from home, she says, it's what your grandma would have wanted. Still, she carried after her mother. When education sought my sister, she became the new generation to leave home. It was clear that my grandmother's prayers had kept her daughter safe, so my mom would do whatever it takes to accomplish the same thing. She has spent her life reaching for my education, ingrained it into my head, the gateways that would open, the opportunities that had slipped from the past that I could now obtain. Their sacrifices will not be worthless. After all, it's taken 2 generations to produce a writer. Thank you.